Hey, everybody, we made it. We're back live on Two Wheels, and I got a special guest with me this time.
Hello.
So
Nice to
this
see
is,
y'all.
can you really see him?
Uh,
Nope.
no one can see me just yet. Oh, you can't see me?
No,
Oh,
I
hey,
can't.
thanks.
I'm just saying they can't, you can't see them. They're out in the ether. So
Yeah, that's true.
no, so thanks to Randrew for kind of piggybacking on here since everyone else bailed. Poor guys. Bo, what are you talking about? What do you mean? What is this? Do you maybe we should get Bo back in here, but it'd be he'll rant about something. So anyway, guys, I know it's been a while since we've had a show. We've had some things been going on in some, just life in general that's been happening. Chase has taken time to focus on becoming a dad real soon, so that's going to rock his world. Patty Rick, yeah, Bo's like, this isn't live on Two Wheels. What do you mean, Bo? It will be.
We're
So,
live.
Anyway, so like Patty Rick has moved and he's taking care of stuff like that. And then of course I had kind of an unfortunate thing happen on my end. So, we were planning to have a show a couple weeks ago, actually, and trying to do something every couple weeks. But, and I had been previously going to Tennessee to help out with my dad who was having a health issue at the time and, staying in the hospital with him and whatnot. And we got that issue addressed, and he was on his way to rehabbing and all those things and on an upswing. And but I was planning the show for the 7th. Made a community post, all that, and then things kind of went south. I got a call from my brother on that Wednesday before that they had to take Dad to the ER because his oxygen was low, but they got it back up. So we were hoping it was just a blip. And then just a couple hours later, I got a call from my sister, and she was like, "It's not good." So clearly, the show took a back burner to all of that. And it was the early morning of November 7th. My dad actually passed away. So yeah, it's his fault we didn't have a show that day. So come on, Dad. But before we get into the moto stuff, I just want to take a few minutes to talk about my dad because he was such a positive influence, and I want to share a little bit of that with everybody. So sorry for the sappy stuff, but I'm running the show now. I do whatever I want to. So my dad, he lived with muscular dystrophy, and what that was is a genetic issue that basically weakens your muscles, your tendons, your ligaments, and things like that, causing stiffness over time. Most people with this are in wheelchairs before they're even a teenager and, don't live too much longer than that, unfortunately. But my dad, because of his perseverance and drive, he made it to 76. And, that's probably a little young for dying of old age, compared to people these days. But for him, he was way past the finish line and running extra laps, and we were grateful for that. He always loved sports. He couldn't play on the field. He knew that, but he was involved in every way he could. He was a team manager in his high school for football, basketball. He was an athletic trainer in college, taping ankles, all that stuff. Did the student support group for the athletic events. And as a working adult, he came back to our alma mater. We went to the same school in athletic promotions, sports information, ultimately became the athletic director there and just made a big impact on a lot of coaches and student athletes. He was always positive, very consistent, encouraging. And, he always walked a little slower than us. And going up a flight of stairs, it takes us 8 to 10 seconds to go up a flight of stairs. It'd take him a couple minutes, but he did it. And that's just one of the examples of how he approached life. And though he's we saw his body getting weaker over time. He didn't need a wheelchair until he retired 12 years ago because he just kept going and kept pushing and was like, let me do what I can. We never used the word disabled or handicapped in our house. Even though he had muscular dystrophy, that didn't define him. So that was probably what ultimately caused his time here to end. But he was full throttle until the tank was dry, and that was amazing. That's what he did. He never said he couldn't do something. He just looked at what he could do, and he did. So it was always find a way, not an excuse. So that was my dad. We miss him, but we're grateful we had him. So yeah, I just want to take a few minutes about that and just show some appreciation for my dad because he helped shape who I am, and hopefully that's a good thing. So anyway.
Good job.
Thank you for letting me diverge a little bit. But anyway, let's get back to motorcycles and Live on Two Wheels, huh? So welcome to episode 22 of season 4. Today, we're going to do things a little bit differently. We're going to streamline it a little bit. I know it's a lot later. So I'm just going to hit this with this outline that I've got. We're going to hit the quick shifter actually first thing, give us a few topics, and then we'll go deep diving in on a few of those things, and we'll just see where the conversation goes. And also, I have just decided that we're going to do a giveaway, a $50 gift card to one of our members. You don't have to be present to win, but it'll be one of the members. So that will be coming too. So with that, quick shifter.
Welcome to the quick shifter.
Randrew, I think that's still your Rev at the beginning, isn't it?
Yeah, that's my Super Hawk going hard. I got to get you one of the Cove right now here soon.
Cove.
Tuve
or not to Cove? What?
I'm just going to keep getting more bikes so I can get you more audio.
I'm okay with that. All right, so there's a few highlights from EICMA we'll talk about, and then just a couple other headlines. But, EICMA was a couple weeks ago. They had a record attendance of over 600,000 visitors for that event, which was up from 40,000 last year. I had no idea it was that big. But, that's just massive.
I think it's one of the bigger ones they've had.
It was the record attendance,
good.
The most they've ever had in the 80-some years they've been doing it.
Heck yeah, good for motorcycling then.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple headlines from that. Well, one really interesting one here. The Honda V3 engine with an electric compressor. Did you hear about that?
Yes. I'm so excited. An electric spoolie boy on top of a V3. I already love V-twins, so I'm excited to see how that one's going to act.
Yeah, I didn't see a displacement number on it. Did you?
No, I think it's going to be kind of based. Honda used to race V5s for a while, so I think they might have taken that engine architecture, chopped it up, and threw into a V3 and then threw a turbo on it. That's how I think they designed that.
Interesting. Let's see. KTM had a 1390 Super Duke GT that debuted at EICMA. My goodness, how big are they going to get? 1490s next year?
Yep, next year 1490s, then the 1590s.
And then they'll just all go back. And then outside of EICMA, here's something that really interested me. The 2025 Triumph Tiger Sport 660 is now coming with a quick shifter and cruise control, and the MSRP is only $1 more.
So, is the Trident also getting that stuff?
We may need to do a little Googling to find that out. Or if somebody knows that in the chat, go ahead and let us know. And then the last thing was kind of a complaint that's starting to rise to the surface is Honda's CB750 Hornet is still not coming to the United States.
Yes, and we also haven't heard from the Hawk. They have an 1100 Hawk in Europe too.
That's right. Was that using the same twin that's in like the Africa twin and all that?
Yep. I was stoked for that because I got the Super Hawk out back. I wanted to compare them.
Yes, Goonie, we did roll by the 390s because they're a 390. No, but that's okay. So let's go back to this attendance thing. You know, let's kind of dig into this. Like, I don't even know what I was thinking, but 600,000, over 500,000 people annually go to this event in Italy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that number includes all the vendors and personnel to set it up and such, but like that's fascinating to me. Like how does it even hold all those people?
Those halls are pretty big. I go to machine shows on occasion for work, and you can like you go to Chicago and you rent the entire venue, and that's all it is.
How
It's
many
fantastic.
how many people are at those events, would you say?
I'd say a couple 100,000, but you
Okay.
know, you don't ship the whole crew there. You just ship one or two. You also have to remember that nobody goes to machine shows just because they're machine show enthusiasts.
Yeah.
But
Right.
motorcycle enthusiasts will go to the motorcycle show so they can see all the new stuff.
That's a good point. But I would say with record attendance, that's definitely a good sign for the motorcycle industry. Um, but of course, you know, we always hear from different areas, oh, sales are up, sales are down, and whatever. But I feel like from a worldwide perspective, that's got to be a good thing.
Yeah, I think it's good. Chase over here mentions it's the totals for the whole show, and I agree. I think it goes on for a whole week, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's I think a week.
So we're looking at maybe 100,000 people a day.
Yeah, probably so. I don't know. It's just still a big number to me, and I don't know what I had in my mind, but that just seems shocking and whatever. So, let's talk about this V3 engine a little bit more. I mean, you talked about a V5. I had no idea a V5 was a thing, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I always think it's like odd numbered cylinders are just I don't know. It just seems unbalanced to me.
So it's gonna be just as balanced as I'd imagine is just as an inline 3, because you gotta imagine that instead of having other balancer shafts, they're using that one V to offset the balance. Apparently, Honda actually raced a V5 in a motorcycle already, so they have experience.
Now, this may be a dumb thought and it may be a dumb question, and if it is, then fine. Are all the cylinders the same size?
I'd imagine so. I didn't look too much into it. I looked at it and said, "That's really cool. Why is there an off canter?" Did some research. I'd imagine that they're all identical for fueling.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, for the air as well.
Yeah, because or else you might need a different air box if one's just a little bit bigger. I might research that later on, maybe write up about it. That seems fun. That seems like a fun topic.
Yeah, it says it's planned to be used for larger displacement models in the future. So I guess that would, I mean, you're looking at 800 plus, I would imagine.
Yeah. I have a feeling personally, R9's coming out, that RC 990 or whatever. We're getting into the 800, 900 range category, and this is Honda's answer to that because they don't have an 800. They have the 750, then they go to the 1000. So if they want to race in that category, this is their answer.
CBR 900 RR.
Yeah, the multi R.
I don't know. It's just an interesting concept, like that you have like a V engine. I don't know. Maybe that's just it's so foreign to me because I mean, I didn't know about a V5, so I'm just. But that's pretty cool. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the pictures of it. Y'all should go Google this. If I try to screen share, I feel like I'm going to hose my computer because it's getting old. But they have it built like on a chassis already, on a single-sided swing arm. So it looks like they've already got in mind what this is going to be for. And
So
yeah,
my brain, I've already said this on the Discord. I think it's going to be another VFR.
yeah,
VFR has had the single-sided swing arms. They were usually V4s. This one's going to be a V3, maybe. I think that it might be a reiteration of the VFR platform after they took it away after the 1200.
Now, weren't those kind of more sport touring oriented?
The 750, the first one was a sports bike. Like they raced the V4s
Okay.
for a while until the 90s when Ducati started getting displacement increases and slapping everyone around. Then they did the V twins and started developing the inline fours, and the VFR turned more into sport touring.
Mm-hmm.
Still a sporty platform.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm just looking at this on Honda's website about it, and there's not a ton of info on it other than it's like, hey, it's a V3 and an electrical compressor. So I guess what that does is it can really fine tune and modulate how much air is coming in. So if at different revs, it can optimize efficiency, power, etc. So that's pretty neat. Even though it looks, I don't know, a V3 still doesn't roll off the tongue for me. It's still weird, but I love that Honda's just doing stuff. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, Honda's a sleeper, right? They've always, once they get a hair going, they tend to try to do weird stuff. Until then, they stay pretty chill.
Well, we'll need to keep our eyes open about more of that. I am going to jump down to, just because Bo mentioned it in the chat that he said the Trident and Tiger 660 is one of his favorite mid-displacement bikes. Yeah, I saw that the new Tiger Sport 660 is going to have quick shifter and cruise control, and MSRP is just $1 more, which that's fascinating to me. I mean, it's probably not a huge surprise, just because, of course, technology over time, it gets cheaper to do. And quick shifters and cruise control is a little bit more standard, but it's also pretty cool that Triumph is doing that without a huge price jump. This would be like a $500 or $1,000 price jump in my mind normally. But to add this on that bike, and it's still under the price of what would be its competitor in a Versus 650 kind of, I think Triumph's going to be really cutting into that market a little bit more. Thoughts?
They tend to go for the more premium stuff. Now, how I think all the electronics work is, I think it's just going to be a plug-and-play simple thing. I think that the ECU in the Trident and the Tiger was always capable of supporting an IMU and a quick shifter from the get-go. I think that was one of their long-term goals, and that might have been why the price is a little bit higher on the Tiger and the Trident compared to some other bikes, and that they're just now getting to a competitive point where they can throw that in there, and they're just giving it $1 increase just to say, hey, look what we can do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the website's not showing the dollar increase. I saw that on the Revzilla article that it was like it cost $1 more. But yeah, to that point, I think some of this technology, quick shifters, cruise control, it's starting to become just so standard and just, like you said, plug and play that it's nothing to add it on there. It's probably even saving them a little bit money because they don't have as many variations. There's a standard production, right?
So when you talk about that, that's why KTM has the DLC. Yes. All the bikes are built the same, but you can unlock the features So I'm
Yes.
curious to see if all the bikes now are built the same, but you can, get a $1 upcharge and get all the features instead of calling it that downloadable content, right? Because that got a lot of back.
Yeah, Bo said in the chat, only thing that sucks about Triumphs is that there's no path to upgrade within the models. So no buying add-ons to make last year's analog, digital.
Yeah, I could see that, but I don't know how many people I'd trust to smack an IMU into a bike and plug it into the ECU without screwing with it, right?
Yeah, I mean, in order to do that, you'd really have to make the bikes a lot more modular. And I could see that being a little bit more disruptive.
So did they go to throttle by wire? Is that what this upgrade is? Ooh, okay,
Well,
that makes more sense.
Well, I mean, you'd have to for all that stuff.
There's been cabled cruise controls on bikes before. They're pretty complex and crappy, but
yeah, well, or is it more of a throttle lock?
No. As far as I know, there's been some vacuum actuated cable control, cruise control for like bikes with cable operated throttle bodies. Way easier with an electronic throttle body though.
Interesting. I'm on their website right now, so I'm gonna check on this. 3 cylinders, 660, 81 horsepower, 6-speed Showa suspension. Am I just missing it? So standard equipment is cruise control, quick shifter, new cornering, ABS, and traction control. All LED lighting with marker lights. What is marker lights? It's interesting. Riding modes, sport, road, and ride. Yeah, all that stuff just says throttle by wire.
Says marker lights are parking lights or side lights. All right.
That's interesting. Well, yeah, I mean, but if they're doing all this kind of an upgrade and the MSRP is not going up, good on them. Like, Triumph was always seemed to be like a premium brand, but they're more approachable now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty cool. But yeah, I'm really interested in this bike. I have not gotten to ride one of those. I'd always wanted to test one out just to compare it to my experience on my Versys 650, since those are pretty much analogous bikes. But on paper, it looks like the Triumph is getting the edge on it.
Yeah. Sounds like they did some under the hood upgrades and just went, we have the 765 and it's got all this stuff on it. I wonder if we just jam this in the 660 and just give it all the same stuff anyway. We already got all the components. Why not?
I don't know. That'll be a cool bike. I need to next time Triumph comes around. Oh, they show up at Moto America here in Atlanta. I need to see if they have one of these available next time and check it out. It looks pretty cool. I like the looks of these bikes. Obviously, I'm a little biased on that. But, there's another 660 that kind of made a little debut recently. I don't know if it was EICMA specific or not, but Aprilia had a Touareg 660 Rally that came out.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. I think it's like a rally package, isn't it? It's got the upgraded suspension and some other stuff.
Let me dig into that and see, because I saw just a headline of it, but I didn't dig into any of the information. But this is, it's good for me just in case a lottery happens and I can go get an off-road bike, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Oh, okay. So it's the production version of the bike that won the Italian Moto Rally Championship in 2023-2024. So they basically took their race bike and said, all right, we're going to make a production version of it, which in the theme of that, it reminds me a lot of the XLV 750 that Honda did when their 750 was beaten rear end in Dakar, and so they decided to make the Africa Twin available for everyone. That's kind of what it reminds me of.
So I'm just seeing if there's any other specs on this.
So linear spring rates instead of progressive ones. Different engine map, comes with an SC Project exhaust, titanium silencer, heavy duty spoke rims, high front fender, thicker aluminum skid plate, comes with handguards, a different chain guard, and the seat is 0.8 inches taller. It's also lighter, 439 pounds compared to 450. And the normal Touareg, along with the Rally, both get larger throttle bodies.
That does look like a proper off-road bike. So.
Oh yeah. The mid to small tier off-road section went absolutely wild at the scene.
Yeah. Oh, and also from Eichmann, I saw that Kawasaki kind of teased what I think they're going to do is put in their new 450 engine that's going in like everything right now, that they're going to basically replace the Versys 300X that they have, which is actually an off-road vehicle or more geared for off-road, and try to make, like, I guess, a proper Versys that's also ADV-ish.
So I don't know if you saw it said KLE on it, right?
Yeah, that's right. And that's actually the designation that the Versys 650 uses, is a KLE.
So back in the day, 1999, 2004, there was the KLE 500, which was like the predecessor to the Versys. So it's kind of fun. It's a fun little throwback to call it a KLE 450.
Okay. All right. So you know all this stuff. I don't know stuff like before 2015, before I started looking into motorcycles. It was just like, because Mama said don't ever own a motorcycle when I was younger. So
half my bikes are older than me.
That's interesting. They're probably older than me. Believe it or not.
The Suzuki's 45 years old now.
Thankfully, it's older than me. No, that's some interesting bikes. But yeah, I think it would be fun just to. I see stuff like this, and I'm like, should I get something like that too? But then we got a kid that's may want to go to college, but maybe a high school diploma is enough, and an off-road bike would be good. Anyway, hopefully my wife's not watching right now. Love you.
You're really nice if you're paying for him to go to college. My parents never did that. They just basically said, "Oh, you want to go? Have fun."
Well, that says a lot. Anyway. Oh gosh. Yeah, were there any other bikes that came out of Eichmann that you noticed that we hadn't touched on already?
A lot of people are excited about the CF Moto 765 Triple. I think that came out before.
They announced it before that. Yeah. I did get to see one in person in October. So CF Moto was doing their demos around, and I went up and did a quick ride on a Papio. But they did have like the 1675 in the United States there on display. We couldn't test ride it, but I have to say it looks just badass. Like, I don't know how it performs, whatever, but I just like the lines of it. It's just, it looks like it's just mean. But, we'll see how it actually shows up. But, CF Moto, they keep making big strides. I said this to Chase before. My one concern about CF Moto is, they're doing so much stuff every year. And they're like, this new model and this new model and this model goes away, it's almost like, well, is there going to be support for a model if I buy it? You know what I mean? Um, I mean, I imagine there will be because there's probably a lot of interchangeable parts, but otherwise, I still think there's a lot of people out there that's kind of waiting for them to fail. Unfortunately, because it's like, oh, it's a Chinese bike, but they're not yet anyway. So,
Well, they are a Chinese brand. They are a Chinese bike, but they're
right.
owned by Perrier Group, the same ones, or they're
Are
partnered with Perrier Group, same ones with KTM, Gas, Husky, and a whole
right.
bunch of MV, Agusta. They just got that.
Yeah, I know they're partnered with, but I still think they're an independent.
I think they take a lot of stuff from all the other ones. I think they have KTM and they have MV, and they do a lot of engine development, and it gets siphoned into CF.
Right. I've even heard that they've had connections with Kawasaki, and so that's where they got their 650 engine when they were running 650s the past couple years.
Yeah, those 650s that were basically the Kawasaki 650s.
Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, it might have been like Kawasaki said, hey, you make this engine for us for a while, then after so many years, you can have,
Yeah.
because, I mean, they're not just going to be like, copy it. Otherwise, Kawasaki would have rained down on them with, everything, but they didn't. So, yeah,
And
I mean,
then,
they've got some interesting stuff. So,
yeah. And then we forgot one of the best things. I forgot my Suzuki hat, but Suzuki announced the DRZ4S and the DRZ4SM.
yes.
The
So
old boys got fuel injection now.
So you don't like it then, right?
Well, so
you and technology, we know.
well, the nice thing about the DRZ 400 carbureted model is that you can spend a couple $100 and open it up and go, get another 7 horsepower easy. And so it's easy to boost power because the top end on the DRZ 400 is actually a 450. Got 450 valves in it. So you can always run a big bore and use the same head, and it doesn't matter.
So are you going to go get one of those guys?
So I knew they were going to do it. I knew they were going to do it because I bought my Cove.
Oh yeah, I mean, of course, as soon as you buy one bike,
I was waiting for like a DRZ 450 or a DRZ 500 for forever, and I went, it's never going to happen. This Cove is a decent deal. I'm going to get the Cove. I've had it for a year, and they dropped the new DRZ.
Well, you had to wait on it for a while too.
Look, we don't bring that up. That was a hard time.
Well, I brought it up. Deal with it. Yeah, that was a bit, but I mean, speaking of, how are you enjoying that bike?
Yes. Sunday, I moved it into the new house. I gave it a titanium exhaust, race intake, all of that. It's got 600 miles on it now, and it is one of the most fun bikes I've ever had. I can barely touch. I'm on my tippy toes. But my God, I think I sent you the video of me ripping down a back road at like 50 miles an hour. It just eats it, and it just wants to go faster. So it's going to be really dangerous for me because I'm going to hit a gravel road and be like, 75? Sure, yeah. Why not?
Nice. Well, we need to get you back down here, and well, I would say I would do that stuff too, but I don't have the thing. Maybe I can borrow one.
I'll let you borrow mine. Sure.
Yeah, I'll need a few lessons on it. I did take the dirt bike course at the Honda Rider Center that we have close by. That was fun.
Yeah.
I think they do an ADV course up there too.
They do in Georgia. I'm slated to get trained next year on my bike. So I will have the Cove down in Georgia at some point. Whether or not I'll be free for you guys, I'll be doing I'll be doing training so I can do ADV stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure old Donkey Dong Doug and Yankee can find you some things down here. You should just come on down to Georgia, man. We keep saying it. Just
Just
be
move
down
on
here.
down.
Just be down here. You don't have to deal with snow and stuff as much. And if you do, it's like 2 times a year, and they just shut everything down because we can't deal with it here.
Well, I got a year lease. We'll see what happens.
Good stuff, man. So, yeah, I'm looking at the DRZ right now. Oh, that's the SM. So, Super Moto. I always love that they have like the little toolkit on the back.
Oh yeah, the little pouch that they
Yeah.
bolt onto the back fender. It's so cute.
Hopefully, it's just not a sign of, hey, you're going to need these tools when you're out there. But
Honestly, if they have enough tools, if they include enough tools in a toolkit to fill that bag, that's more tools than any other manufacturer gives you at this point.
Right. Yeah, you get like what? A wrench, one Allen key, and
Yeah, they're like, oh, this is so you can fix your headlight? That's it. Okay.
Bo, don't look at me. I just show up. He's the brains of this operation. Sort of. We'll say that. I don't trust his GPS. I don't trust.
Who does? It? Right? You just keep following the road, and eventually you get lost.
It was SmartCon in Kentucky. We're trying to go out to somewhere for dinner, and he's taking us over like a bridge and another river, and I'm finally just like, follow me. So I get us there. And then Bo gets run off the road by an old man, and we have great times.
Yes, I remember that.
Bo, are you going to the next SmartCon?
You better. I think the Kobe is going to be coming next year.
Are you just going to ride it the whole way?
Oh no! Unless I get a better seat. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's just firm seat on the off-road type bikes.
Anyway, yeah, right? I rode it for an hour, and I was like, I think I'm going to stand for a little bit.
Yeah. Well, just bring it on down. So. All right. What else we got going on in the world of motorcycles? Like, I'm just trying to. I feel like outside of EICMA, there was a few other bikes that.
Other things that are going on. How about KTM needing a cash influx, or else they might not make it?
That is right. Yeah, I saw that because I knew they were having some like financial whatever's happening, but now they're like reducing production.
Oh yeah, so them and Harley. My buddy up in Harley says that Harley's kind of hurting too. Harley and KTM are.
Well, Harley's overpriced and KTM's are ugly, so.
KTM's have those nice butter cams in them. You don't need to do valve checks. You just do cam changes and.
Well, I guess that's supposedly a good thing. I don't know. I don't like the way KTM's look.
No, I'm not a big fan. I think my favorite KTM's are the old 990 and then the 690.
Yeah, I mean, like, and now they've changed it to where I don't know if it's like the DRLs or whatever. They're like coming around. It looks like the freaking Predator. That's like
they've got like little pincers. Yeah, I know what you're saying. It's
I don't know. It's weird. It's like, well, if it was in an Alien movie, sure, but I don't know. I can't get behind that. Like for me, the looks of the bike matter.
Yeah.
I know other people are like, if as long as it's functional or whatever, it doesn't matter what it looks like. And I get that to a degree, but I'm the type of person where when I walk out in the garage and I look at it, I want to be like, yeah. But that's just me.
You can grow to love something ugly. That's my philosophy.
Well, your parents didn't pay for your college, so I don't know about that statement. No, that's true. I don't know. The looks of them, I can't.
Ooh, yeah. So speaking of KTM having a hard time, no Husqvarna, no Gas in 2025 Dakar, and they're only going to have one 3-man KTM team.
So, riddle me this. they're having these cash issues or whatever. Surely they should have seen this coming to some degree with accountants or whatever. How are they still going and buying like MV Augusta and stuff?
So
Hail Mary?
remember the Perrier group isn't KTM. KTM's a part of that group. KTM doesn't
but
make.
it's the whole group that's in kind of the financial issue.
I think it's just KTM.
Pretty sure it's not because they own Gas, Husqvarna,
Well,
KTM. And
so the only other thing is they kept buying and buying and buying, trying to boost stock prices, right? Have good stocks, and it's finally starting to come to them now that motorcycle sales continue to decline. And so now that they're having poorer projections, they're valued less. Because they're valued less, they're worth less. They don't have as much money. Also, I would never buy MV Agusta in my entire life. Why? Like, why would you do that to yourself?
My view on MVs are, if you buy one, it is a vanity purchase. You're trying to say, look at this thing that I can afford and buy. So
I did ride a Brutale, I think a 900 or 800 when I was doing my MSF training. One of the instructors there had a Brutale, so we swapped. He took the Super Hawk, I took the Brutale, and it's a fun bike. I don't know if I'd ever own one. It's a fun bike.
Yeah, well, and Bo makes a point, like, those companies buy the name just because of the recognition. They get it. They'll make MVs out of their other brands' parts, just like Polaris did with Indian. So, yeah, it's unfortunate when they do that, but basically, and once everything's kind of switched over in 5 years, an MV is just going to be a premium priced KTM.
Well, I wonder if they're going to have an MV 690 because that's all KTM does. We buy this. You're going to sell a 690 now.
You're going to sell a 690.
You're going to sell a 690.
The 690 Brutale. Unbelievable. All right. So what we're going to do right now, we're going to take a little pause. We are going to spin the member wheel. And somebody's going to get a $50 gift card. But you don't have to be present to win it, but you do have to come and claim it within before the next show. So that's what I'm saying. So let me see if I've got this thing configured correctly here. Let's see if I got my little spinner wheel up. Okay. Yeah. I don't know if you can't see it right now unless the stream catches up, but I got a spinner wheel up here with the names of our members. And so it's from wheelofnames.com. So this is not me pre-picking anybody. And I have taken off my own name and Patty Rick's name. So insiders can't win. And here we go.
Yeah, I liked victories too, Yank.
Control Alt Own, our buddy. I think he won one before. So Control Alt Own, if you're watching this now or later, which if you're watching it later, then the now would still be relevant to you.
Now that you've seen it.
Flux capacitor. Send me a message before we go live on our next show, whenever that is, and I'll hook you up with that. So anyway, back to us. So yeah, just trying to do a little bit more fun giveaways, making sure that, members are taken care of. And that's something that I want to do next year. Obviously Live on Two Wheels is not a moneymaker show, because if it was, I wouldn't still have a day job. But what I'm going to try to do with it is actually use this membership dollars and have prizes and more giveaways and make it more fun and entertaining. And we do the live shows, and then we will polish it and then put out a video later on. So we're going to try that, see if it makes it a little bit more dynamic, makes it a little bit more quality rather than more quality than quantity. So, yeah.
I think that makes sense. I would do it. I love giveaways. I like
Yeah.
throwing away money. That's
Yeah.
all I do.
I mean,
That's all I do.
we want it to be fun, and then once we get like 1 million members, imagine what the giveaways will be. We'll just be like throwing out ruckuses to everybody.
Yeah. You get a Metro, you get a Ruckus, you get a Met Ruck.
I'd be like the Moto Oprah. You get a ruckus, and you get a ruckus.
Just shipping them all over. Honda would be sponsoring us. Like, yeah, just give us all the scooters.
Oh man, we'd get Small Bore on here to like help facilitate.
Oh,
that,
of course,
because that's up his alley.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, we're gonna have Small Bore on this show at some point so that we can have a whole like Small Bore show about ruckuses and groms and all the things. So nice. Oh, what was I gonna do? Oh, my mouse is.
I don't know. What was it?
Yeah. Any other bikes that jumped out at you from or news that's happened in the last little bit that
News. Dunlop is shuttering its facilities in New York. So,
I guess they got tired.
They did get tired. I know Moto Morini is starting to make a thing. I think they just announced the 450.
They did have a new model come out.
There's been a lot of 450s coming out. And
yes.
We had Hemi 450, MT 450, Cove 450, Moto Marina 450, the KLE 450. And a 450 is a really good size, I feel. That's why I went with the 450.
Yeah, I don't think they have the 450 on their USA website right now. But yeah, I did see that they had another. Was it like a kind of a sport touring model? I don't remember, but
let me see if I can find it. I just saw a thing. I'm on ADV Writer because that's where I go there every day. I log in, and I read instead of doing actual work.
Small Bore in the chat putting in like the little Vespas or whatever. Love it.
Yeah. The Flying Flea? The Flying Flea, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, we do need to have Small Bore as our like correspondent. Be like, okay, let's talk little bikes, and we'll throw it to him, and he'll be like, "Yep, the Ruckus is still small. Thanks for that update."
It still exists. It's still small. Okay.
The Ruckus is still the same. Oh, so my recent addition to the Ruckus.
Ooh.
So I have like I have a top case for the Versus, but I was like, what if could I put a top case on the Ruckus? Because you can just, pop it off one and put it on the other if you need it. Because occasionally my wife will take the Ruckus to go to the store if she needs to pick up something, just a few items. So that's great. Now she can pick up a few more or go to the park or whatever so I was looking for like the GV racks for it because they're bike specific racks and then you get the plate and then whatever. So I was like, okay, I can get the plate. That's easy. And I kept looking for it. And I was like, they don't make it. It's not out there. I finally went to eBay and I found a rear rack for a 2004 Ruckus. And I was like, I'm getting it because it's probably going to be pretty close, if not the same. And sure enough, the thing fit right on there perfectly. So, I mean, the Ruckus has not changed like hardly at all. I mean, they've probably made a few minor tweaks here and there with like the electronics.
Don't think so. Because it's still carbureted.
It's still carbureted. But I mean, like just a few little things about like maybe with the way the key is. I think at one point it was only kickstart, maybe. But, but like as far as the chassis of it, it's been the same forever. So
that's not necessarily a bad thing. I like that about bikes that have had a long lifespan because you get all, everyone's made modifications, everything's documented. You can buy whatever you want for them. My little
Yeah.
Metro, which is the same bike as yours, actually has a little rack on the back, and it says you can't put more than 5 pounds in there. I don't listen.
Right. Well, what's cool about it now is like that top box that I've got. It's also got the backrest pad on it, so that when it's on there and my wife's riding with me, or anybody's riding with me, they got a nice backrest for it. You put it on the Ruckus, it's only a one-person seat, but
So
now
you
can
get a
lean back.
backrest.
Now I get a backrest, and just leaning back, chilling on a Ruckus.
Oh yeah, that's
like
how you do it.
Just hauling butt down the road at 25 miles an hour.
Oh yeah, they don't go too fast. They get me to my grocery store and back. That's about it.
Oh,
70 liters of soft luggage. It'll look like a pack mule, stick out like an extra 2 Ruckuses wide.
Oh my gosh, Bo, there's Bo, seriously. Let's talk. That may be a good joint video idea that we do. Like, we could run a trail up in North Georgia that's just, that the Ruckus could handle, but it's like, how much do we pack on the Ruckus?
Well, it depends. How slow do you want to go up the hills?
Well, that's true. So, fun fact, I think I told this before, when I went and got the Ruckus, and Bo, you'll know this, I got it from Mountain Motorsports Mall of Georgia location. For me, that is a 30-minute up the interstate to get there. So we're getting it, and it's like, okay, well, maybe we can call my friend who's got a truck. It's like, but he's not available. Well, I guess we'll just have to ride it home. So I took all these back streets, and there's still a few little rolling hills here and there, around Atlanta. And, when I was going downhill, I mean, that speedometer was pinged all the way up.
Oh yeah, you're hitting like 45 miles an hour.
I know, it, brother. And then I hit that valley, and then I start going up, and that needle goes, boo! And I was like 20 miles an hour, and that throttle was pinned.
Oh
and
yeah,
And I'm like, well, I'm breaking it in. So the first 22 miles of the Ruckus was me wide open on it. So, yeah, I hope it's still okay, but it's a fun little thing to scoot around on. But yeah, Bo, I think we should do something with that, like, packing down a Ruckus, and it'll be so loaded down with like me on it. It's going like 15.
Adventure scooters, except it's loaded with so much crap. There's just going to be so much stuff on it. It's going to look like a mountain.
I do need to get a suspension upgrade for it, I think, though. Legit.
I just bottomed mine out. I don't care. I hit a Powell. All right.
Yeah. Oh, good stuff. Well, great, Bo. We'll be in touch. Yeah, we'll make it work. We may have to figure out how we get the Ruckus to location to do that.
Well, do you have a U-Haul and a hitch?
No. I've thought about getting a hitch on my car. I got a V6.
Like if I can use a Corolla and tow a Super Hawk all the way to Maggie Valley and back, you can tow a Ruckus.
Absolutely. No, I mean, with the Ruckus, you can get one of those like just racks that like goes in the back of the hitch. It's not a trailer; it's just that rack that's on the back.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't trust that for bikes over 400 pounds or probably 300, but the Ruckus is just under like 200, I think. So may do something with that. But anyway. Well, I think we're probably getting toward the end. I just want to try a 10 o'clock show, but before we go, there's one thing we must do. Do you know what that is?
It's been a while since I've seen a live stream. Probably not.
Shame on you.
You guys have them when I work.
Well, and you're busy working because you got to pay for your own college. Anyway, here, maybe this will tip you off.
It's my favorite time of the week. Finally, time for the ghost tip.
Oh, the ghost tip of the week. The ghost tip of the week.
That was great. Ghost tip of the week. This is sponsored by Ghost on Two Wheels over on Instagram, of course. Speaking of tips,
Ghost tip of the week. Be careful if you follow the masses. sometimes the M is silent.
I can agree with that one.
Yes, there's
Well
too
done.
many. There's too many times when people just go with the crowd, and they should not. So
That's why I bought
that's
a different Chinese bike.
right. And there's a lot of masses in China. You know, they were looking at the United States way back when, and it was like, hey, the U.S. hit a population of 300 million, and China was like, that's cute.
Right.
So,
I don't have kids. I'm not helping. So.
well, now I'm excited for some ruckus adventures. So, which I need to do more with that anyway. So, well, you know, I think we're going to wrap it up. Randrew, appreciate you kind of jumping on here and, you know, being someone to bounce things off of.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It's fun to be able to actually interact and do one of these.
Yeah.
It's been, what, 3 years? So
maybe we'll just do like a little rotating guest host, but I do want to have like more guests on that have like unique bikes and, you know, things that maybe aren't popular in mainstream, but just to kind of talk about what they have and their experience with it. Cause, you know, that may be a little bit more insightful than just us going to a website and reading specs, you know? So once you get some time in on your Cove, maybe we can talk a little bit more about that later on too.
Yeah.
So, I'm just seeing what's coming in the chat here. If there's anything, oh, Bo just wanted a bunch of grumpy boners. Yeah, that's oh, grumpy boners. They all look grumpy no matter how you look at them. Anyway, thank y'all for joining us. Thanks for those that took a chance on a 10 p.m. show. And we'll come back probably in December because, you know, next week's Thanksgiving. So I'll be going back up to Tennessee and just loving on my mom a little bit. And but we'll come back in December and kind of figure out when we can do like a you know, best of the year type of show and such. So all right. Well, do you have any closing words, Andrew?
Ride safe, have fun. Winter's coming. You know,
Winter is coming.
take care of yourselves.
You know, I've never seen that show.
What?
The Winter
Game of Thrones?
Game of Thrones.
I've never seen it.
Oh, so we're probably like 2 of like the 4 people on Earth that haven't. So
I don't watch TV, so.
Well, you're spending all your money yourself trying to go to college. So, okay.
It's already basically paid for. Don't worry about it.
Bye, everybody.